I'm the legend from the Paul Feinbaum Show, and I'm in the starting lineup.
I'm Terry Quillian, and I'll be in the starting lineup every Saturday morning.
I'm Case Kiefer, and I'm part of the starting lineup.
The starting lineup, 10:30 to 11 on ABC 3340 every Saturday morning. Welcome back to another starting lineup here on an Easter weekend. We have the black, the darkness, the death, and then we have the resurrection. We have the springtime, baby. Happy Easter to you here on ABC 3340. This is the starting lineup. Kip Kiefer, Tony Curry. I spoke with you before the show this morning, and you were in the area of your home where you do the most thinking. And it's not the throne, but it's the shower. It's close.
Yeah.
So I said, what are we talking about, brother? And he's like, let me wipe down a little bit. So he came walking out of the shower with his towel on, wrote down some ideas. And what do you want to get into this morning?
You and I did an edition on the great TKR network. We've got a show, Kiefer and Curry. We talked a couple weeks ago about great sports events, the championships, the different things that we see in sports and what makes them all great. But, watching another edition of March Madness, Tony, it never ceases to amaze me. Almost every game comes right down to the end, and it's teams you've never heard of, teams that you don't really know the players, but you really kind of get involved because the games are so dramatic. And there's really nothing like this. It's awesome.
Kudos to television, TBS, TNT, True TV. They did a wonderful job at showcasing this entire tournament. They do fantastic. And you're right, man. Every game feels like Duke North Carolina. Every game feels like, every time Duke and North Carolina plays, I know it's going to be a great game. I don't care if one team's 0-14, the other's 14. You know it's going to be great. And every game is wonderful. You know that every game is set up for an upset because we're going to have it. There's always a 15, there's always a 14, there's always a 13. You're filling out your bracket. Someone's looking over your shoulder going, you have the L doing what? There's no way. And it always happens. It always happens. I'm going to mention I drove up to Memphis for the first round games.
Awesome.
I saw 4 games for $75.
It's the best deal in the world. Birmingham used to have those.
Fantastic.
We had them last year. I hope we're on regular back in the rotation now that the BJCC's been revived. Tony, you just said the word that also makes this really special. Everybody's interested in the World Series and the Super Bowl and all the other the NBA Finals, but the bracket, the word bracket, the bracket concept, people that never watched a college basketball game fill out their bracket. So there's ownership in this thing. Countrywide, everybody's got a rooting interest in every game. I really need so-and-so to beat so-and-so. And I think that was not a preconceived marketing idea, but boy, has it worked out great for basketball.
There's only one thing the bracket stands for. I'm not kidding you. If you hear the word bracket, you're either talking about an engine block or you're talking about basketball. The thing, I'll say this, it doesn't last long enough for me.
Yeah.
I know every time there's a round of games, it's over, and I know the field is cut in half, and it bums me out, particularly after that second round of games. Now we got games, of course, coming up on Thursday and Saturday, and it just bums me out because I know every time we play another round of games, we've cut the field in half. And for me, if we get basketball every day of the week, I wish it lasted another month. We talked about expansion.
Yeah.
There's a good chance we're going to expand this thing, and we're going to double the teams. We're going to go to 130.
And we're going to have Mark Ingram on next week, the athletic director at UAB, who will talk about that.
Yeah, and he's one of the proponents behind actually doing that. There's about 15% of the teams in college hoops that actually get in. It's the lowest percentage of any playoff we have. It's the best playoff we have. So why not involve more basketball teams? The chance you actually get 2 shots to get in through, of course, your conference championship, and then, of course, you can get in as an at-large, and where you can get in by winning your tournament. It's just fantastic, but it does not last long enough for me. I want to see it go another week.
I can't wait. Case Kiefer's going to be along with me on his segment in a little bit. We're going to break it all down for you, everything that's coming up on this Saturday. Tickets to the Ultimate Dance in Phoenix on the line, and it's going to be a great Saturday of basketball, so stand by for that. Tony, I wanted to mention last week, if you missed the show here, first of all, I need a written excuse. But the second thing is, if they missed it, they missed a lot. We had Paul Feinbaum on last week from the SEC Network. I thought Paul was a phenomenal guest. He was personable. He was funny. He loved interacting with the legend on our cast here from the kind of role reversal standpoint. But I just thought that was great. And we have a YouTube channel, The Starting Lineup. do yourself a favor, go back and watch the interview. It was just TV magic.
No, every single week, you never know who you're going to have on the show. Like we said, we have Mark Ingram Conefs, the AD. We certainly talk a lot of sports here. We talk about other things as well. We've had Leonard Skinner, the band on. You've had a Cayman crocodile sitting on your lap during a segment. You had no clue what it was. You thought it was a rack of ribs at first when you were feeling its belly because we had your eyes closed. And then, of course, then we have just a great guest like Paul. I think that speaks volumes about the relationship that Paul has with Legend, obviously, because Legend's been on his show every day for I don't know how many years. He knows you and knows of you, and certainly I worked with Paul for over 20 years. And so I think he came into this situation. And normally, which is really great about the starting lineup in this show, usually interviews are 3 to 5 minutes on television. We have this television show like anything else. We can do whatever we want for the next 30 minutes. We don't have to run any commercials. We can do whatever we want. And so the interviews are as long as we'd like. And so when I told Paul, he said, how long is the interview? About 6, 7 minutes. I said, no, it's about 10 or 11 minutes. He said, really? And I said, yeah, stretch your legs and get comfortable, my friend, because we're going to be asking you some questions. Next thing you know, Legend's asking about his buyout from ESPN.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
And by the way, it ended up being a 15-minute interview.
It was. It was fantastic. If you're a Paul Feinbaum fan, even if you're not a Paul Feinbaum fan, you
will be if you watch
have
this
to
interview.
acknowledge and respect what the man's done in this industry. And when it comes to college football, no one does it better for the SEC. So it was a great interview and a great channel. Check out the YouTube channel for sure.
Well, it's going to be great, and we're going to have the Legend coming up shortly. Again, as I mentioned, stick with us. Case and I are going to break down everything you're going to see in this big Saturday of college basketball. And it's opening week for baseball, Tony. America's gay national pastime. Everybody excited because everybody's tied for first place on opening weekend.
Did you like the first games were played in Seoul instead of the United States?
It's
It's America
really
game. It's Major League Baseball, and they're played in Seoul. What?
Of course, all the Otani news broke then.
Yeah.
By the way, there's a job open to be his interpreter, and I hear the fringe benefits are pretty good.
At $4.5 million, I'm in. Whoever's got screwed up, yes, I did a typo. I mean, you forgot a zero. You forgot like 4 or 5 zeros on that number. Coming up, too, before the end of the show, I want to get into prop bets. We may not have those anymore. We'll talk about that coming up here on the starting lineup right here with Kip and Tony.
The Birmingham Racecourse Casino turns dreams into reality. Like Roger M., who just won over $51,000. And Rebecca, celebrating a life-changing jackpot of $160,000. You could be the next to dance the Icky Shuffle with a big win.
Woo! I'm a winner! I'm a winner! Woo! I'm a winner! I'm a winner! Woo! And you can be a winner too!
Don't miss your chance to be our next big winner at the Birmingham Racecourse Casino.
We have a new feature on the show. AJ Johnson is going to show you where a lot of your entertainment dollars are going to make everybody in Birmingham big winners.
The Birmingham Racecourse Casino is a first-class entertainment attraction that is paying off big for Alabama. And best of all, some of the most important resources in our community are hitting the jackpot as well. I'm Alan Johnson, Community Relations Director for the Birmingham Racing Commission since 2021. The Birmingham Racing Commission has distributed over nearly $14 million of racing and casino proceeds to local governments, critical service providers, and worthwhile organizations in the Birmingham metro area. And one of these recipients is Children's Hospital. They provide invaluable healthcare services to our precious children, unjustly stricken with serious illness, injury, and life-threatening medical conditions. Significant funding from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino assists this wonderful asset to our community in caring for our most important resource, our children. So when you come out for a night of fun at the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, you can't lose, and your entertainment dollars are making everyone in our community big winners.
Hey, listen, everyone thinks they got the best show on earth, and of course, we're all competing against each other, regardless of whether you're trying to get followers on, TMZ or whether you're doing something here on the starting lineup on ABC 3340. We all want to get listeners, we all want to get followers. We're doing that with TKR, Tony Curry Radio. It's a very easy app. It's free. It takes you about 5 or 6 seconds. The really cool thing about it, and YouTube just started doing this, when you actually swipe up, it continues to play on your phone. So no matter what you're doing, you could be on a phone call with your in-laws, you could be watching something on YouTube, doing whatever, you can listen to the TKR app wherever you go, whenever you go, as long as you got battery power. But you get the power of need to know. Great show with Kip Kiefer, the Kiefer and Curry show. Now you're thinking to yourself, is this you two guys? We could do a whole radio station, man. We could do it. But no, there's a show on there with Leonard Skinner. We have ZZ ZZ Top that's well represented on there. We've got the starting lineup. Of course, it's a great show. We've got a show called Dark Side of the Pooch, which is a fantastic show. Mission-minded, need to know, you name it, they're all on there. Unique programs you're only going to find on the TKR app. One of our great shows, Live Wire Wednesday, brought to you by Southern Precision Staffing. For all your staffing needs, when your staff is banged up and you need some help, go to Southern Precision Staffing, 205-682-2828, 205-682-2828, where your word and your handshake still mean something. They're right here in Hoover, the Birmingham metro area, just like TKR is, but they serve the United States of America. Now, TKR goes international, and Precision Staffing would do that as well if they had to. Southern Precision Staffing, 205-682-2828. Check it out. It is time once again for the man, the myth, the legend. You like him, you love him, you can't live without him. Plus, a little help from AJ from Pell City. Here is the legend.
On the starting lineup, we believe in responsible broadcasting. On a recent show, the legend offended the Moroccan people by creating their tradition of balloon heads to represent the inner spirit of certain individuals and popping Kirby Smart, Hugh Freeze, and Brian Kelly here on the set. He also popped Jim from Tuscaloosa and Ryan Day, but nobody cared about that. But in interest of really kind of retribution, legend today will be shackled to AJ from Pell City, another famous Feinbaum caller and Auburn enthusiast, as his punishment for his misdeeds. Enjoy this segment.
See, ladies and gentlemen, this is what happens when you go wrong in the sports world. When you go wrong, you end up handcuffed to the biggest Auburn. You better calm down, AJ. To the biggest Auburn fan in the world, AJ from Pell City. They got to interview him right here in the Legend game. Well, go ahead, Pell City.
Sports Insane has
Hey, don't
obviously
you hit
lost
the
his
legend.
brain.
Go ahead and introduce yourself.
This is AJ from Pell City. And it's a shame that I'm chained to the sports.
Sports what? You done lost your nerve right here in the Legend game. You done lost your nerve. Look at him. I'm handcuffed to AJ from Pell City, one of the greatest fireball callers of all time, and he done got stage right here with the Legend. Y'all sure this is the Auburn fan? Come on, AJ. Hey.
The tide is over.
The tide is
The
over.
tide is over.
What do you mean by that, dude?
Championship are gone, and so is the throne.
I'm gonna tell you something, dude. I don't know why they handcuffed you. I don't know why they handcuffed you to me, but you need to watch yourself, man. How you talk about Alabama?
This is as close as she gonna get to a national championship.
Come on, let's
again
get serious with
when
the
the
people.
freeze is on.
Let's get serious with the people for a minute. How will Auburn do this year? How will Auburn? What do you think?
Oh, undefeated.
Undefeated.
Natty. We're gonna run the natty.
Dude, I'm about to hit you again, man. You come up in here to lose, no?
We got Bryce Kane coming in.
Who?
Cam Coleman. Marcus Rennie.
Cam Coleman. Why you about to stretch my arm out? Why y'all got me hooked to this man? He can't even stand. He about to stretch
We're
my
going
arm
all the way
out.
this time.
Going all the way.
Yeah.
All the way. Now let me ask you something, AJ. Look at the people. Look at the camera, man. I'm not gonna hit you no more. Calm down. I lied. Wait. Oh no. Oh no.
Legend. 10 seconds for AJ to have the floor.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I've been trying to tell this insane sports brain for a long time.
Oh, another 10
Who the
seconds.
champions is going to be. Who the champions are. And it's the Auburn Tigers.
Y'all believe this, man, the Auburn Tigers. Yeah, I know y'all want me to hit him again, but Kip done threatened me over here for a minute. Let's get back to the interview, man. You doing all right, man. Come closer. You about to
It's
stretch
time to
my-
take this hat
Hey,
off.
don't you touch the hat.
Personal foul on AJ.
We got
10 seconds for Legend.
See, the Auburn Tigers have always been my little brother. Little ugly stepbrother with pimples all over his face. Oh, another foul, Kip. That's a foul right there,
That
Kip.
could be targeting. We have to
That's targeted, Kip. That's targeted. Keep it quiet for 20 seconds.
Let me loose. Let me loose.
Calm down.
This ain't nothing but a goose.
Uh-oh, you done.
Oh, yeah, that was targeting.
Hell, we going out. Yeah.
I would eject Legend, but this is his segment.
Wait a minute,
so
calm down.
continue.
I'm sorry, dude. I didn't mean to hit you again. But listen, go on. What was we saying? Go on. Why will... Look, dude, you look like you're about stage fright. Why are you so... you look like you froze.
I'm under the lights.
You like Hugh Freeze in the SEC, dude. You like Hugh Freeze in the SEC, dude. It's all right. Just calm down, man. Just calm down. Now, let's say, what is our record going to be this year for real?
Oh, they're going at least. I'm looking at a 10-win season.
What about Alabama do?
They're probably going to be at a. They might win 2.
Now listen, ladies and
But
gentlemen.
one of them will definitely not be off.
Listen, before we get off here, I just want to say 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 3. Remember, it's just a game.
Don't be like Legend.
Sports insane.
Insane.
Are you ready to dance some more? Your legs getting tired? It's time to go to Phoenix. Case Kiefer and Kip Kiefer are going to break down all the Saturday action for you here on a Saturday morning. Of course, we do it every Saturday morning, regardless of what's going on in the world of sports with Major League Baseball underway. We're going to be talking about that next week, but we'll get it underway right now. What's on the schedule for this Saturday? Case and Kip get after it right now on the starting lineup.
Thank you so much, Tony. Welcome to the interview area where we have brought Case Kiefer on board from Las Vegas. I'm joining Case, you from the Birmingham studio, where everybody in Alabama pretty pumped up. We've kind of avoided talking about it because we wanted to save this segment to preview the big game this afternoon with Alabama and Clemson in the Elite Eight. A lot of people I talked to were skeptical whether or not the Tide could get by North Carolina, but it was really kind of a perfect storm that enabled the Crimson Tide to overcome the 1-9 lifetime record in the Sweet 16, and they are one game away from going to the ultimate dance.
Yeah, well, shameless plug. You wouldn't be surprised if you read LasVegasSun.com. Best bet of the Sweet 16, Alabama plus 4.5.
Well done.
Probably no surprise if you followed me, because I bet Alabama like every game. I'm not an Alabama fan. I don't really have any ties to the program, but I love Nate Oates. I think he's one of the best coaches in the nation. I think they're perennially undervalued. So I've been going through the ups and downs with this team all year. I have futures on them. I think I gave out them to win the SEC on the show at a big number. You could have hedged out of it and made a profit. Ultimately, that didn't get there. But yeah, I'm definitely not surprised to see them in this situation. And on the flip side, I've always kind of been skeptical of North Carolina this year, and I just thought this was going to be a lot closer game. I don't think the Tar Heels were world beaters, and it played out kind of how I thought. Came down to the end, and Grant Nelson with the game of his life, and Alabama got it done.
Yeah, you know, I said on Thursday before the game to several people that were asking me, do you think Alabama really has a chance? Because most of people that you talk to kind of were, you know, I don't think they're going to beat North Carolina. I think maybe the brand gets enlarged a little over the actual team sometimes. But I did say that I thought the key to the game was if Grant Nelson looked in the mirror in the locker room once he dressed out and realized I'm 6'11", I need to assert myself. I need to be a force in the middle. He did that and everything else. The second half for Grant Nelson was absolutely extraordinary.
Yeah, he was very good, especially offensively. I still think as far as being that force in the middle, I still worry about Alabama's rim defense. I know that's not anything out of the ordinary. I really thought for a stretch North Carolina was just getting whatever they wanted. They're either going to get fouled or get a shot at the rim every time. Then, you know, I felt like what was kind of a turning point, I don't remember, there were 3 or 4 minutes left. They blow right by the Alabama defense again, and Armando Bacot got a pass and missed that dunk that was wide open. Yep. And after that, they were like paralyzed for the next 3 possessions. So, you know, looking ahead to this Clemson matchup, I do worry a little bit about matching up with PJ Hall down on the block. And I think that's where everyone knows where they're vulnerable. But I think they have a lot more strengths than weaknesses. And I think it's a big coaching edge in Alabama's favor. Again, I say this almost every game, so it's no big thing. But I really trust Nate Oates with the data to prepare more than I trust the Clemson staff.
Well, ironically, if Alabama were able to win Thursday to get to today's game in the Elite Eight, they were going to play, of course, either Clemson or Arizona, 2 teams that they've out-of-conference teams that they played already this year. They played each one of those and lost to them. The Clemson-Alabama game was in Tuscaloosa, and I remember watching that game early in the season, and the Clemson Bigs really had their way in that game. Alabama kept making runs and getting within a point or two, but Clemson continued to answer down the stretch and won that game 85-77. What's going to turn the tide, pun intended, this time?
Yeah, we're right on the same page. I have a prop. I do things pretty old school, actually. I'm like one of the older millennials, so I still do a lot by pen and paper, especially bookkeeping. So first thing I saw when I saw this matchup, I flipped back to November 28th, and I laid 9 points with Alabama in that game. Obviously, that didn't turn out. They lost, but the number closed at 9. And I had the same notes you did as my top bullet points that PJ Hall and co couldn't miss down the stretch. To me, Clemson just gets on these weird stretches. I really don't think they're that great of a team. I don't think they're one of the best 8 teams. I don't think they're really Elite 8 worthy. But, it was like for a stretch of this Arizona game where just everything they were throwing up just miraculously went in. And they really switched up their defensive looks, which gave Arizona fits, which I thought was just, I don't know. I mean, I thought they had some shooting luck, but I also just thought Arizona was woefully prepared. I had kind of been a Tommy Lloyd defender, after he had a couple early tournament flameouts. I always like to see more of a sample before I really start hating on these coaches. But you look at Arizona's personnel and you look at Clemson's personnel, there is just no excuse in a spot this big that Arizona should have a performance like that. They couldn't adjust. They didn't know what to do against those defensive looks. And to me, on paper, I feel like Alabama will be better at that. I mean, anything could happen. But like I said, I laid 9 with Alabama. Yeah, that game was at Coleman a little bit different. They opened a 1.5 point favorite. I'm assuming this was going to move by then, so you probably can't get as good of a number. But I make numbers on every game. I have Alabama a 4.5 point favorite here, so I made a very large wager on Alabama minus 1.5 in the Elite 8. Anything could happen, not a lock, but this is about as big of a value as I feel like you're going to find this late in the season when the markets are really sharpened.
From an SEC standpoint, it's kind of remarkable that the conference got off to such a bad start, and Alabama now is on the verge of Alabama came into the tournament really wobbling down the stretch with a couple of injuries and serious defensive efficiencies. The fact that the Tide are 1 game away from going to Phoenix, a remarkable story. And I thought another key to that game with North Carolina was, I mean, Carolina plays fast, but their tempo rating, which I guess is compiled by the speed of their play, was somewhere in the 40s. Alabama, of course, plays at a faster level than anybody in the country. I think North Carolina was comfortable playing that kind of game, but in the end, I think that might have been their undoing because I don't think they were going to beat Alabama at their own fast-paced game.
Yeah, North Carolina really not that fast of a team, at least for their standards. Go back to their Roy Williams years, especially their offensive. The defensive pace is a little bit quicker. I think they play a little more pressure, but offensively they don't go near as fast as Alabama mainly. And yeah, I totally agree with you. Alabama did impose their game. I thought maybe when they went down 5 late and I kind of felt like they were going to lose, or not late, but midway through the second half, I was like, well, Alabama did what they want to do. They got their type of game and they just had 1 fewer guy than North Carolina. But yeah, it ended up playing out that way. I agree with you. Alabama did impose the way they wanted to play. And I think that was an advantage. And I think it could be again with Clemson. Athletically, I like this Alabama team a lot better than Clemson. Clemson does a lot of the small things well. Like I said, they kind of have like a magic stick to win some of these games, but I feel like Alabama athletically should be able to do the same thing against Clemson.
Are you as surprised as me? If you'd have told me before this game that Mark Sears would only score 4 points out of 43 Alabama put up in the second half, I would have told you Alabama's going to get blown out. Sears has been so much the heart and soul, but he also gets a huge pat on the back for completely taking Ryan, the 3-point threat for Carolina, locked him down in the second half. I think Ryan only made 1 basket after making 4 or 5 in the first half. Sears can beat you in so many ways. What a valuable guy he is. Really the straw that makes Alabama go.
Yeah, I do know he was 5 of 8 at 1 point, but down the stretch, Sears did play good defense on them. And I think some of his playmaking, even when the shots weren't falling, I think probably the biggest Grant Nelson bucket there at the end was that they double teamed Sears and Sears made the perfect pass. So yeah, he's another guy that does a lot of those little things. And yeah, he's certainly Alabama's best player. And yeah, it'll be a fun showdown. I mean, if you're going best player versus best player, I still think it's PJ Hall for Clemson. So more interior oriented, obviously, with Clemson. We'll see if they can have their way inside, where Alabama, if they win this game, it's probably going to be in the backcourt.
It's really interesting to me, and you've spent a lot of time in Alabama and lived here for off and on, I find Alabama basketball is a really interesting phenomenon, and I think people will identify when I say this. I get the feeling that Alabama fans for basketball kind of have a Boston Red Sox, Chicago Cubs mentality of, oh, I'm going to get excited and they're going to disappoint me again. But this team and Nate Oates may be the X factor that finally gets them to where they've never been. This is like Star Trek, to go where no Alabama team has ever gone to the Final Four. And it's going to be a tremendous disappointment, but I think they've already proven to people this is not the same old Alabama team that had lost 9 out of 10 games in the Sweet 16.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think that's unique to Alabama. It's just this tournament is so hard, and one off night, you're gone. There's so much luck involved. I think more fan bases than not feel like they're cursed and nothing ever goes their way. So I totally understand what you're saying, but Alabama's totally not alone in that regard. All you can control is where you are right now. I think either way, I mean, this team, obviously not one of Oates' better team. And to be where they are at this point of the season, it's a success. Yes, it's going to hurt a lot if they lose in the Elite Eight, but to get this far, I think it was a great season with what they have, and they're going to be really good again next year. They got the Pepperdine transfer coming in, whose name I'm blanking on right now, but I mean, they've got money, obviously. They've got the right coach, so I think those days are behind them. I think Alabama's going to be a factor more years than not going forward.
And credit to the administration and athletic director Greg Byrne. They extended Nate Oates before the tournament began, his contract and his compensation. So they know what they have here. And Nate Oates is great. I love the shot he got on Thursday night at Charles Barkley saying, Charles, you were saying we're frail. I don't think you can say that now.
Yeah, I mean, I love Charles, love watching Charles, but yeah, probably an Alabama thing in there too. But we went through this whole rigmarole with Charles Barkley back when the Warriors started dominating the NBA. They're too soft. All they shoot is jumpers. They'll never win anything. Well, now they're the best dynasty of the last probably 15 years in the NBA. So Charles Barkley always going to favor one type of basketball. It's not Nate Oates' type of basketball, but I'm all about progress, and Nate Oates is a progressive coach, so I love it.
We only got about 20 seconds here. Real quick, your thoughts on the other game, Illinois and UConn.
UConn, an 8.5 or 9 point favorite, seems about right to me. They're the top tier team right now. They are just a level above everyone else to beat San Diego State by 30. Doesn't mean they'll win the championship. Illinois, Alabama, potentially tough matchups for them with their offensive firepower. But yeah, UConn definitely the team to beat right now.
We got to go. Roll Tide. Case, thanks for joining us.
Thanks a lot.
Kip, I know how much you love the NCAA. I mean, you absolutely you write them Christmas,
the organization,
Christmas cards,
love them,
Christmas gifts, the whole nine. Charlie Baker actually did something that I thought was really, really important and smart. He has now asked legislation.
He resigned?
No, he asked legislation in every state, which is about every single one of them, 44 of them, that do betting to drop prop bets.
Oh, yeah, on individual players.
Exactly.
Yes.
So you can no longer bet on the senior for Utah to score 26.5 points or more. He's okay with individual bets and sports betting, but says, listen, the prop bets need to go away. I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great choice. And 4 states believe that's correct. What's your thoughts?
Well, I mean, if there's going to be any corruption in a game, all this stuff about people fixing games, that's really difficult to do, to try to land on or over or under a point spread value. But for an individual player, you're at the line at the end, somebody's going to pay you thousands of dollars if you just happen to brick one. It makes sense. I don't like a nanny state in any sense, but I guess if you're going to kind of try to make sure you keep the game clean, it's not a bad idea.
One thing you can bet on is our over-under for rebounding next week. We're going to have Mark Ingram right here from the UAB Athletic Director join us right here on the starting lineup.